Hey, how's it going, everyone? It's Freddie. Yeah, so this is kind of like my wrap up of last year. I know we're already at the end of January, but this is the only time I've been able to shoot this video. Last year, like I said before, had a son, and he just turned 7 months today, actually, and he is a handful. So all my time and energy, or me and my wife's time and energy, goes towards him. So I haven't really had any time to work on too much stuff, personal stuff anyway. And yeah, this is just kind of a video of just wrapping up the gear that I used for last year, and kind of the gear I didn't even touch or even really use. So let's just go ahead and get into it. I made this list, and I don't even know if some of these things I got last year or the year before that. I think the last 2 years for a lot of people have been kind of like a blur. So this is kind of like my list of things that I really used for last year. First off is the Native Instruments Machine MK3. I know it's been around for a few years now, but I kind of ditched the machine software. I was using it. I did have the MK2, and then I had the Machine Micro. I think it was the MK2 as well. And I really used those two previously just as controllers for Ableton, or when I did live sets. So, just kind of messing around with beats, and I was already using a lot of Native Instruments. I use the Native Instruments ecosystem pretty heavily, Contact and Massive and all these other like plugins and stuff like that. But I did download like a lot of expansion packs and stuff like that. So I decided to get the MK3 to make it a little bit easier as far as like navigating through sample packs and all this other stuff. And it's great. I know there's a Machine Plus out that's like a standalone, but the reviews that I've seen and the stuff that I read about it, I hear it's kind of bad as a standalone anyway. I hear it's pretty underpowered as compared to like the MPC Live and the MPC Live 2, even the MPC 1. So kind of just sticking to this until maybe a third generation of the standalone comes out. But it's great, like I can navigate through all the expansion packs that I purchased. I pretty much buy like all the cool like new like drum kits and stuff like that. It makes it a lot easier to navigate through this. But I don't really use the Machine software to make beats. I mainly use the plugin and then the sounds. So I'll use Machine to load up like drum kits and like groups and stuff like that. And then I don't really record in Machine software. I'll just play out the stuff live and then record the audio into Ableton. So I'll have like a MIDI track of Machine in Ableton, and then the audio is being routed to another audio track. So I'll record the audio coming in. So I don't even like save the MIDI data. But yeah, Machine MK3, I think it's awesome. I know I have a lot of friends who use Machine as their main thing. But yeah, it's great. And I think the pads, they're like really sensitive. It's just great. I really like super sensitive pads. And it's built pretty solidly, and it has like audio ins and outs and like MIDI ins and outs. And what I like about this is you can use it as a controller for other pieces of software. So like you can download scripts that just people have written and load it into the controller editor software, and then you can control like Ableton, you can control like Cubase or Pro Tools or whatever you want to control, and people make cool scripts for it. As opposed to like the Ableton Push, I feel like it's just for Ableton. The user kind of mode in the Push is kind of, I think, a little bit lacking a lot. It's very cumbersome and very hard to like make your own mapping for that one, whereas like this one, there's like a whole support team, not just from Native Instruments, but like the machine community and stuff like that, which is great. I don't know if I got this last year or not, but it's the Mpc Studio. I mean, I had the Renaissance and I got rid of it because I feel like it was just a little bit too big. I've been using the Mpc series of Mpcs since I started making beats. Not like as my main thing, but you know, I first started off with the Mpc 2000 XL. Then I got the Mpc 2000. I got rid of the Mpc 2000 XL. This is way back in the day. And then I got the Mpc 2000. Then I stopped making beats on the Mpc for a long time, just started making beats on the computer. I borrowed the Mpc 2500 for a while from a friend. And then I borrowed the Mpc 1000 from a friend, which I still have. Indefinite loan, but I'll, you know, give it back. And then I'll talk about that one in a little bit. I'm back on the Mpc 2000 XL. But yeah, this is really good. If you are a Mpc user and you're thinking about getting into software, you know, you're transitioning into software, you can use the screen and everything just like a regular Mpc. Just, you don't even have to really look at the computer screen. But yeah, I download expansion packs for the Mpc software. Like I said, I don't really make beats in the Mpc software, just like the machine, but I do occasionally. I think I prefer the Mpc software over the machine software. You know, it's just preference. It's not like any one is better than the other. And then I got the Mpc 2000 XL. I just wish the chopping samples was kind of easier, but if you don't have an Mpc already and you want one and you're so used to kind of chopping samples, how you do in Ableton or whatever program you use or whatever it is, I would say get the Mpc 2500 or the 1000. Chopping samples is a little bit easier, and the 1000 and the 2500, they support JJOS, which is like a custom firmware. It makes it a little bit easier. I got a steal on this one. What's cool about eBay is you get like these sellers who are selling just electronics. They're not really like music sellers. They're just selling, you know, they come across like pieces of gear and they're not very knowledgeable of it, or they can't test it, so they just kind of sell it. So I took a chance on this one. Power's on, and from what they knew, it worked. And yeah, power's on. The only thing that when I first got it is the jog wheel, the encoder didn't work. So I basically ordered these really cheap encoders off Amazon. They came in a few days, and I desoldered the old encoder for the jog wheel, and I put a new one on there. They came in like a pack of like 5 or 10 or something like that. And then yeah, it works fine now. I think the slider doesn't work. I might have to replace that. And there's just like a line in the screen, which is okay. But overall, it's in great condition. Like none of the buttons are yellowing, and overall there's like no scratches on the body, which is pretty rare. So I think I really scored on this. And then it came with a zip drive, which I was using for a little bit, but then I upgraded to a compact flash reader. I just bought one off Amazon, and then I installed it myself, and then I just updated the firmware to I think 1.20. If you're upgrading one of these old Mpc 2000 XLs, you need to upgrade the firmware on the Mpc first, which I did. I had to order a zip drive or zip disk off of eBay, you know, just a couple bucks, and then upgraded the firmware, and then I was able to use the compact flash reader. But it was really easy. It came with everything that I needed. And then these are kind of finicky when it comes to the compact flash. Actually, the compact flash like disc or whatever you want to call these. You have to make sure that you get one that can read the Mpc. So that one does, and I think it supports up to 1 gig. The only thing I'm having a little bit of trouble with is some of the samples that I try to take off the computer and then put it onto the CF card. I like some of it doesn't read right or something like that. I don't know. So I have to figure that out. I haven't really had a chance to. And next is the Behringer Poly D synth. It's off screen, but it's kind of like a mini Moog clone, a little bit beefed up mini Moog clone. And I've been using that for like bass sounds, especially like lead synth sounds. I think it's great. It has like a few modes, like mono, like uni, and this kind of poly kind of mode. Not traditional poly in that sense, but I forgot what they kind of refer to it as. But yeah, I think Behringer is kind of killing it when it comes to kind of revamping old synths and drum machines and stuff like that. Maybe the quality isn't as good, but it's definitely more affordable, which is awesome. But I'll post up a picture or another video of it so you guys can see it. But yeah, I've been using that. I got rid of like some other synths and stuff like that. You know, the studio, it kind of just like hardware just comes and goes, and you know, I kind of like keep what I actually do use, and then I kind of trade or sell the stuff that I don't, because I feel like other people can benefit from using it more than I can. Then this big thing over here, I know in other videos it was over here, but it's the Allen and Heath GL 2400. It's a 32 channel mixer, analog mixer. They're all like mono inputs, but I've been kind of getting into hybrid mixing, which is mixing outside of the box. So what I'll do is my audio interfaces, I have like a few of them. They output all the tracks onto the mixing board, and I do all the mixing on the board along with some outboard gear. And then once I'm, you know, done mixing, I bounce the audio back into Ableton, and then that's kind of like mid-mix. And then I do the kind of like some of the mastering in box, you know, but I've been kind of doing both, where I do the hybrid mixing, and then sometimes I don't, like sometimes I just want to create and do all the mixing in the box. So I'll still stick to the SSL Nucleus. I know it's kind of an outdated little controller, but it's built like a tank and it still works really well. I know SSL, they came out with the, what is that, UF8? I just kind of don't like the transport control on that. Maybe I'll upgrade down the road. It takes up less space, and I feel like if I got two of those, and then now that I have I'll talk about that, the SSL UF1, it would all look kind of cool together. I just don't like the transport control on it. I love the jog wheel on this, and like the buttons is kind of like how an SSL console would be. So yeah, but I still use that, but I'm using this a lot more for mixing anyway. And then I upgraded my Universal Audio Apollo to Thunderbolt 3. And I also got this Apollo Twin X. It is unnecessary. You don't need to get this. Buy an affordable audio interface. But I'm just so, like, I like using Thunderbolt things because I have, you know, MacBooks, and I have a Hackintosh down here that now supports Thunderbolt 3. I'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, upgraded to, I had Thunderbolt 2, then I got Thunderbolt 3 on the audio interface. You can't see it's down there. I can take the Thunderbolt connection and daisy chain it to the Apollo rack, and then I just have one Thunderbolt cable that goes into my computer, and then that's how I control all the audio. I think the UA stuff is very powerful as far as like plugins. You can do real-time like plugins, real-time effects, which is awesome. It's just, it's not affordable at all. Like you can buy this, or you can buy like a rack mount unit, and you have like maybe a year of using their plugins, and then after that you have to pay for all the plugins, and it's like mad expensive. It's very cool and it's very powerful, but it's not affordable. So if you're just like a producer making beats in your bedroom, or you know, you're just kind of like mid-level, you're not too serious about it or anything, I would suggest skipping this. I know like you see this in like a lot of videos, and I kind of got into the hype, but get something else. SSL, they make the, what is that, 2 Plus? I think that one looks cool and it's affordable. And I think UA came out with like some new kind of like audio interfaces that are a little bit more affordable. They're like these vintage ones that look cool. But yeah, I still use my old the older UA along with that and my old Mo 2. And I found a workaround to use it with the newer versions of Mac. So yeah, but yeah, going to that SSL UF1. Is that it? Is it UF1 or UF8? I think it's UF1. SSL UC1. UC1. But basically, it's just a controller. Here, it's just a controller to plugins in your DAW. Basically, there's a channel strip and the SSL bus compressor, and you can do hands-on controlling from here. So I'll do like the mastering stuff on here using this sometimes, not all the time. Or I'll use the channel strip on individual tracks sometimes, not all the time. And then I also have a warm audio bus compressor down there, analog bus compressor, and I kind of flip between the two using the SSL one, which is in the box, and the warm audio one, which is outside of the box. So both work pretty well. I'm so used to using the SSL one. I've been using it for like years upon years, and using an analog one, it's different. I'm slowly getting into, like I said, I was trying to do the hybrid stuff, so slowly kind of doing like different things. And then I'll just quickly talk about signal routing since I've mentioned all these things. So what's cool about Macs is you can combine multiple audio interfaces into one kind of like, I guess it's called aggregated device. So this is done within Mac, the utilities and the audio MIDI settings. You can combine all of those. If you have multiple audio interfaces, you can combine them into one, and which is what I do. I have an old Mo2 828 and the UA stuff, and I combine them all into one device, which is read through Ableton, and then I can control all the outputs and inputs of that device. So pretty much the Mo2 and the Apollo down here, they have I want to say 10 outs each, 10 mono outs. I guess it would be 5 stereo outs. Is that right? Is it 10? Yeah, something like that. I don't know. Yeah, 10 mono outs. So basically all the outs of those, they go into the mixing board through these channels. And then I have the output of all of those sums bouncing back into the mixing board onto the first channel, and I can utilize the EQ of the mixing board. So I can do any kind of like final EQing, analog EQing, and then the output of that goes into this interface, and then that's how I print or record the final mix. And then that gets recorded onto a separate track in Ableton. And then I can add any plugins that I want, which is cool. But yeah, that's like simple signal routing for how I do things. I upgraded my mixer for my DJ stuff. So I had a Tractor Z2 for the longest time, and I really liked it because I'm a big fan of innovators. This is before like Rane started coming out with these, I don't even know, these mag faders, and like the Pioneer mixers that had all these cool faders. My favorite fader is the Innovator, super smooth. But yeah, upgraded my mixer to a Rane 70. It's a Serato mixer and Tractor. They're two different things. The way I was doing it before, so I could use Serato with the Z2, the Tractor Z2, was I had a Serato box and I would just basically hook my turntables to the Serato box and then put the outputs of that to the mixer. And then what was cool about the Z2, my old mixer, is I can program the buttons to kind of launch cue points and stuff like that. But now I don't have to do any of that. I don't have to do all these workarounds. Everything is kind of done inside the mixer. But yeah, I've been really happy with that upgrade, which is cool. I basically just like traded in my old mixer to get that one. But yeah. Then I upgraded my monitor. I got some different monitors. I have way too many monitors. I got the Kali Audio LP6 monitors, 6-inch monitors, and they sound great. Like, they reviews and stuff, they refer to these as kind of like really good intermediate monitors, and they sound really good actually. And then I haven't used this, but I also got this, which is the Impress Zoya pedal, and this thing is a thing of its own. Honestly, it's not just a guitar pedal. It's like there's oscillators in it, and there's like synths, and there's like effects, and there's like this routing matrix, and there's all this stuff. And I really have not used this at all. Like, I turned it on a couple times and played with some of the presets just to see how it sounds, but this thing is, right now, it's a little bit over my head. It's a small little beast in a box, I guess. And I know they came out with like a newer kind of version of this, a little more beefed up version. But I got this, and then I have not used it at all. But I mainly need to research how to like configure certain things and how to route like everything. And I don't know, it's too much for right now. I have to really sit down and watch like some YouTube videos. Other than that, that was pretty much all the studio stuff that I think I upgraded for last year I've been using. Plugins, I don't know if I've been really using any different plugins. Started using just more like contact instruments and more machine expansion packs and stuff like that. And been using the channel strip for the SSL stuff, and I don't know, I'm using Ableton 11 now, so I guess that's all the studio stuff. I can talk about some of the regular like consumer electronics that I've purchased last year. In the early part of last year, I bought a Mac Mini, the M1 version, but I ended up having to return it because I was just having so many problems with it, as far as like compatibility with some of my hardware, and it actually kept crashing on me, like not programs, but the actual Mac itself. It would just like restart out of nowhere. So I just ended up returning it, and then fast forward till now, and now I have the new 16-inch MacBook Pro, the ones that just came out, the new M1 Pro chip or whatever it is. And this has actually been working really well. I think they fixed a lot of things when they upgraded to Monterey, because I feel like with Big Sur, I was just having like a lot of security issues, and extensions weren't being loaded correctly, and drivers weren't being loaded correctly. But for some reason, for the new operating system and for this particular laptop, I just haven't had any problems. I did have to do some workarounds as far as like some of my older pieces of gear, like the Motu. They don't make drivers for this anymore. I think the last driver that it supported was like Sierra or something like that, something really old. But there is a workaround for that. So if you have an old one that's like an old Firewire unit, there is a workaround, and it works fine. And yeah, everything just kind of works pretty well with this one. Like all my audio programs work well. The only thing that isn't supported is this controller, and that's it. My MPC Live works fine as a controller for the MPC software on here, but this one I can't get it to work. So this kind of just stays right here. And I did, previous to that though, previous to getting this is actually a brand new thing. Previous to this, I decided just to upgrade like a few of my components in my tower computer, which is a Hackintosh / Windows computer. So I upgraded to a more updated Intel processor. I got like an i9, I think it's a 10th gen. It's not the current gen, but it's a 10th gen, 10 core. and upgraded the RAM and upgraded my motherboard. So even the motherboard, it has like Thunderbolt 3 in it now. So I was using my tower for like the longest time, but I've been having some issues with like power failures here in the studio. So I didn't want to completely rely on that. Whereas like a laptop, if there is a power failure, the laptop will stay on, and you know, I can kind of save my stuff. Because there was a couple times when I was working on stuff on my tower, and then like everything would just reset like in our place. So I didn't really want to kind of bank on that. So, but anyway, yeah, upgraded all the components on that, and it still works really well. I don't know like if I'm going to continue using it. I will, because it has a really good graphics card in it too. So like, you know, if I ever need to do video or something like that, or even like maybe for like streaming and stuff like that, it'll work really well. But yeah, it has like 64 gigs of RAM and like all this shit on it. I don't know. So I took like pretty much all the components from the old components from that computer, and I kind of transferred it into a gaming little mini ITX case. And I already had a mini ITX motherboard, and I basically just swapped out the CPU and upgraded the RAM and stuff like that. So my gaming tower, mini ITX tower, it's an old chipset. It's a 4790K, and it has, I think, 16 gigs of RAM, and it has an RX 5700 XT as a graphics card, and it works really well. Some games I play are like, I don't really play Warzone. I only go down Warzone to play with friends. I enjoy playing COD, but it gets too sweaty sometimes. I'm just like, I'll just play bots, you know what I'm saying? Or my favorite is playing Ground War, because I don't really have to like, you know, there's so many people on the map, so I don't really care about dying. Yeah, but some other games I've been playing, Cyberpunk, It Takes Two, Back for Blood. I play that using Xbox Game Pass. I think that's way better than using Google Stadia. What's cool about Xbox Game Pass is you can play it on like a tablet or your phone or a computer, because it has cloud gaming. So yeah, I really enjoy that. Forza and like MLB 2K21. I traded in my old iPad mini, which was a 5, and I got the new 6, which is this. I think this is like my favorite iPad of all time, is the minis, because it's such a good size. It's good for like reading books, it's good for reading news, it's good for media consumption and taking notes, and it's small. And what I really like about this new one is now it has USB-C and like a fingerprint reader. And then I always wanted like an iPad Pro, like the design of it in a mini form, and I got it this year. So that was also, or you know, last year. And this is kind of like what I really wanted. I also got this, which was the iPad Pro 11-inch, the one with the M1, and I'm pretty disappointed in it. It's when I got it, like I was like, oh, it has a Thunderbolt port now, and like it has the M1 chip, so we're probably gonna get like professional apps now, or like more beefier apps. But nothing's changed really. Some of the music stuff that I used to use, it hasn't been like updated in like almost a year, and it's just like maybe developers just don't care anymore. But yeah, this is kind of like, maybe if you're a content creator, if like you're editing videos all the time on the go, and like especially like artists, like digital artists, or like architects, or you know, something like that, this might be like something really worth getting. But for me, it's just, I feel like it's kind of a waste of money. I'll probably sell this, because it's kind of just taking up, this is a paperweight, expensive paperweight for me anyway. So I'm pretty disappointed in that. And I was hoping that maybe because it has the M1, somebody will port like a version of Mac onto it, but that's kind of like wishing a little bit too hard. I also got the Microsoft Surface Go 2, which is a 10-inch tablet kind of, you know, version of the Surface. And I was pretty disappointed in that as well. I returned it because it was kind of laggy, and I was just hoping that they would I even got the highest tier model, and I was just hoping that it would be like kind of like it would replace that, because having just like a full-fledged version of Windows in like a tablet form is kind of like, that's kind of what I want. Like I want a very powerful 2-in-1 that's small. That's like my dream, but really none of those exist. Like if you want a powerful 2-in-1, it has to be bigger than 12 or 13 inches. And I just don't want that. I want like a small form factor one. I also got the Microsoft Surface Duo, this thing right here. And this thing is really cool. Well, it's dead battery. But I know the version 2 just came out, but basically it's kind of like a phone with 2 screens. I wouldn't say it's like a phone that turns into a tablet. It's more of a phone for like if you want to do 2 things at once. And that's what I love to do, is I like to watch a YouTube video on here and then watch the news on this side, or like I'll watch fucking 2 videos at the same time, like a dummy, because I'm like a textbook multitasker, like not a good one either. Like I just like to do multiple things at once, especially when it comes to tech, like computer stuff. I think when it first launched, it was like $1,200, like some ridiculous amount of money. But you can find these on Amazon for like new and used but you get them locked. Like I bought it locked through AT&T, or through Amazon, but it was locked to AT&T. And what you do is you go onto the AT&T website and you fill out all the information, and they'll unlock this for you. So you can use it with any carrier. So this is kind of like a secondary device for me, and it's great. You know, you can read books and you can do everything else. It's not super powerful, I would say, but it's good enough for my needs. And I can't wait until they install Android 11 on here. I like both. I like iOS and Android for what they are, for some of the features and stuff like that. But yeah. And then you can, I guess if you're into Nintendo DS crap, you can run emulators and stuff like that. I do want to get like a Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3, but I just don't want to pay that price. And then I actually got the Samsung Galaxy Tab S7 Plus. I know, like what the, Freddie, why are you buying all these stupid tablets? I don't think I'll keep this, but I really like Dex mode on here. It's like it's kind of like a desktop version of Android, and all Samsung devices or newer Samsung devices support Dex, and I really like this. And this is super small, and it has a little kickstand, and you can, you know, it's kind of like a Surface, but it runs Android, which is awesome. Great for media consumption, great for like multitasking, great for everything else. I think I enjoy this way more than I enjoy the iPad Pro. And it comes with a S Pen right there on the back that charges. And the only thing that sucks about this, I got the keyboard case for this, and the keyboard is good. I wish I had backlighting, but the trackpad fucking blows. It's super laggy. I would suggest if you're going to use something, use a mouse with it, because other than that, it's a really powerful kind of tablet. So if you're an Android user or Samsung user and you don't want to use an iPad, or you just don't want an iPad, you can look at the Galaxy Tab. Even the older ones are pretty good, I think. I also got into cameras when our son was born, so I just want to take a bunch of photos. This is my main camera right here. It's the Fujifilm X100v. The lens on this is super awesome. I think it actually blows away a lot of my other Fuji film lenses and cameras. But I have the little wide angle conversion lens that just screws on. This is usually the regular form factor for it. I have a hood for it too. But yeah, I like using the Fujifilm recipes and stuff like that, and I subscribe to Fuji X Weekly to see new recipes to use, and this is great. So if you're into rangefinder style cameras and you're not really looking to spend like Leica prices, this is the camera to get, honestly. So I have this, that's my main one. I have a few other ones, but I think I'm going to get rid of them. So I have the X Pro 2, which I might sell because after using the X100v, I don't think I'm really going to be using that as much. I'm debating on whether to keep this or not. This is the older EX3. I know an EX4 came out as well as an X Pro 3 came out, but I like this one as well. It doesn't have the hybrid kind of optical feature, but having the EFV, the electric viewfinder, I still like using it. And it's super compact, and you can change the lenses, which is great. So I might hold on to this. I'm still kind of debating on it, but yeah, I've just kind of been getting into Fujifilm stuff. I also got a film camera that I still need to use and develop the film on. And I'm trying to like just develop my own film. So I have to kind of do more research on that. Other than that, maybe some sneakers. I decided to stop buying sneakers that I just stopped giving into the hype and just keeping the ones that I really like, the OG colorways and stuff like that, and just going after like the classic stuff. Just no more random sneakers. I'm just so tired of giving into the hype and the consumerism of it, and you know, just buying a sneaker and then getting it in my hands and then okay, what's next? You know, like that whole kind of mentality. And then I'm tired of resellers and reselling and all this other shit. So yeah, just keeping the OG stuff, and then just going after the kind of like the big ticket items or the things that I really like. Just leaving all the random stuff to whatever. I just woke up one day and just like, I'm done with it. And not to say that I don't love sneakers. I just, you know, like I have way too many. I'm trying to like sell a bunch of them off. And then I just deleted all the sneaker apps from my phone. Just got tired of it, honestly. I'm not saying like the sneaker culture is like bad or anything. It's just, you know, like for me and having a kid and stuff, it's just like, you know, like I can't be doing this shit anymore. Other than that, technology wise, I got an Ember Mug, which is like a smart mug that keeps your drinks hot. I got it at a White Elephant, and I want to use it for soup. But I've been using it for tea and coffee, and I don't really drink coffee that much. And then for our kid baby stuff, we got a snoo, you know, those like smart bassinets that we never used. But we rented it and we returned it. And what others? We're trying to keep them away from like screen time and stuff like that. So we kind of have like a little bit of a Montessori mindset right now to what he plays with. He doesn't really have any toys with batteries or anything like that. Just kind of just being more interactive with him, and you know, like playing with him, and you know, showing him how to like grab things, you know, like stuff like that, developmental kind of stuff. But yeah, I guess that's it. I don't know what else to talk about. I know this video is like way too long. I'll come out with like more beat videos when I have time. I might have a little bit of time to record tomorrow, so maybe I'll do that. But yeah, I've been slowly kind of compiling tracks that you've heard here on the channel, as well as some new stuff onto a more solidified album, and I'll post that whenever I have the chance to. I don't know if it'll be anytime soon or even later. I don't know, with a child, who knows? It'll be up eventually, and I'm still debating on whether to press it on vinyl. I'm just kind of, I'm a little over labels now. So I'm just going to be doing it all on myself, even if I have to press the vinyl just myself and then ship it out myself. I might consider just doing that instead of just going through distributors and stuff. Just don't want to go through the headache of doing all that stuff anymore, and then just being changed at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to be able to control my own music and do all that stuff myself. Not to say like I don't appreciate all the labels that I worked with in the past, but I think for projects from now on, it's just going to be all me for the most part. But yeah, I'll post all that stuff soon. Thanks guys for tuning into this video. I know it was completely long. I'll try to cut it so it's not as long. It's almost like a podcast. Here, just look at all the stuff that I bought that I don't use. But yeah, there's probably a few things that I'm forgetting, but follow me and my fatherhood journeys on Instagram. Our son is a character. And yeah, I'll post some more videos on YouTube as well as on Spotify and stuff like that. I know I've been neglecting all the streaming services, SoundCloud and Bandcamp and stuff, but I will post some new stuff soon. I just don't want to post like a single and then the album doesn't come out until like a month after that or something like that. So yeah. All right, guys. Peace.